I knew this would happen. I knew this would happen. I predicted it 3 years ago, maybe even longer. Well, I wasn't the only one, loads of other people predicted it too, but it's happening. Hi, my name is Scola, and you deserve to be happy. Not just a little bit happy, but so happy. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be getting into the BBL Backlash. Now all of a sudden the BBL look, it ain't cute anymore. And why is that? Let's get into it. Right, so I wanted to chat about this because I was watching Pop the Balloon. I know guys, I know. I never used to watch stuff like this. Like, I never used to really like watching reality TV shows or any of these like dating shows and stuff like that because there's too much drama, there's too much conflict. I don't like conflict. I will run into the sea before I have to deal with conflict, and that is terrible, I know. I'm working on it. But I have gotten into watching like reality TV and watching these sort of shows and everything. So if you don't know what Pop the Balloon is, it's like this show here on YouTube, and each episode is usually like an hour or so long, and it's literally just a dating show. It's like where you have a row of people and one person comes out, and you know, if they don't like the look of them already, they pop the balloon and they say more stuff, and if they don't like their vibe, they pop the balloon. But also the person can also go and pop the balloon of the people they don't like. I hope that was a good explanation. If not, I apologize. Actually, I didn't even say, guys, before we get really into this, okay? If you like my vibe and my energy already, you might as well click the subscribe button, and also go check out my other two most recent videos. I spoke about how the skinny era is back. So that was how we kicked everything off. And also, it's a survival guide though. It's a survival guide to help you get through it, okay? And then we also spoke about what happens when your favorite body positivity celebrity / influencer changes their body. Tea drama. But definitely go check out those videos as well. And whilst you're at it, just leave a like and a cheeky comment for my encouragement. As I said, it just keeps me going. Right, so I was watching Pop the Balloon, right? And what I noticed is a lot of the men on this show would automatically pop their balloon if they noticed a woman on the show had a BBL. So if a woman walked out and she has a BBL, they'd immediately pop their balloon. And I found that so interesting because I feel like the rise of the BBL look was in part due to the male gaze, you know, men liking that bigger butt, and it was a trend, and you know, that body type being sexualized in general. And I felt like a lot of women felt less than and needed to get that curvier look to feel good within themselves. Not just that, but also the fashion industry really played a huge part. Anytime you log onto a fashion website like Fashion Nova, I mean, I don't really shop on Fashion Nova like that, but the bodies on there, I was like, who looks like this? But also, you could tell the clothes were designed with a BBL in mind. You know what I mean? Like, even the fashion trends were giving into this. But fast forward to now, body trends have changed, and so everybody's view of them has changed. But also, I think it's because it became so accessible to the everyday person, and it really shouldn't have been, that now it's no longer seen as something that is like unique and aspirational, because now anyone can have a BBL. But not just a BBL, I'm not just speaking about specifically having the operation of having a BBL, but if you have the body that they were trying to attain, it's also now lost its value. And I fall into that category. And I spoke about this in my video about 3 years ago, and I was like, the skinny trend is back in. And I spoke about how I had really actually benefited from the whole big booty trend because I am naturally built with a shelf. I'm built with a shelf. And so I enjoyed it. I was on the up. I was on the up for once. Keep in mind, out of school, you know, there were these girls that would literally make fun of the fact that like I had a bigger butt and would like walk around imitating me. It was messed up. It was messed up. And to see all of a sudden now those same girls hitting the gym trying to get themselves a little bubble butt going, I was like, excuse me? Yeah, I'm the blueprint. I'm the blueprint. But I was also worried because at the time I knew just as quickly as my body type had become a trend, it would quickly fall out of trend. And I want to get into how that's affecting me personally and how that's going to affect others. Now, first of all, the biggest point I have been trying to push for the longest time now is not to give into body trends. And this is a big example of why. There are so many people that have gone to get their bodies operated on, risked their lives. Some have even lost their lives for this body type. And now the body type has completely changed. Like if you just fast forward a few more years, you wouldn't have cared so much about trying to attain this specific body, because now things have flipped and the people who are pioneering that body type have now dissolved their booty cheeks and they are now on a path of thinness once again. While not complete thinness. Now, you still want to have a little bit of a butt, but you don't have to have an outrageously big butt, right? Now, that's the trend. And this is why it's so important not to follow body trends, even fashion trends to some degree, because I'm now realizing how much fashion trends also give into beauty standards and beauty ideals and stuff like that. Because again, you know, when the BBL was in, the clothing was designed for a BBL body in mind. But now that, you know, thinness and being on the smaller side is back in, a lot of the styles of clothing we're seeing is designed for that kind of body in mind. This isn't to say that you can't wear whatever you want. You can wear whatever you want. I'm gonna wear a crop top with my belly hanging out and you're not gonna stop me, okay? Yeah. So we are really experiencing a backlash on the BBL. Like most trend cycles, once that is out of fashion, people start to bash it. It's like, you know, in the early 2000s, like I think late 90s, when the big old titties were in, everybody was getting those big old implants. You don't see it around as much now, but I really feel for the people who decide to opt in for that. And then what did they do after? They started getting them removed. So here on YouTube, I want to say in the 2010s, I would say, yeah, like the late 2010s, I started noticing an uptick of women having their implants removed. Now, a lot of them put it down to breast implant illness, but I think a lot of it was also a driving trend for a more smaller chest, okay? Because, you know, going braless was a fashion trend as well, not wearing a bra, especially like post-COVID and everything like that. Like, I don't really have any sort of affiliation with bras myself. I will wear a sports bra, but bras, they stress me out because they're not comfortable at all. And so with that trend of not wearing the bra, it was typically if you have a smaller chest, it is easier to go braless, right? So now that's the trend. And so a lot of people decide to have their implants removed. Now, it could have been a whole host of reasons, but this is when I first noticed how dangerous body trends are, because you're playing with your body, okay? You're playing with your actual body and your actual health, your life, because people are losing their lives for these operations to keep up with all of these trends, to be like, okay, now I'm gonna have bigger implants because that's what's in. Okay, now a smaller chest is in, so I'm gonna get smaller implants. Or, you know, some might even go as far as to have a breast reduction if they're already on the larger side, and now that's not in as much anymore. I mean, I know people have breast the way that I just can't keep up with how fast my brain moves sometimes, but I know people get breast reductions primarily because like it hurts their back, or they're tired of their breasts being overly sexualized and all of that kind of stuff, or the way that they fit in clothes. I feel like that's a separate, different thing. The backlash on the BBL really shows how terrible body trends are, okay? And like I've already touched on, the people who already have this body type naturally, one thing I notice is people getting accused of having a BBL and people assuming that's not their real body or the way they are naturally built, because people are so used to seeing that as something that can only be bought rather than just you're born with. But we forget that this trend came about from somebody's natural looking body, and it's definitely been taken and exaggerated. Like, I hadn't realized how bad I am at noticing a BBL, because when I am watching like Pop the Balloon, I wouldn't even notice that a lady has a BBL. I'm just like, oh wow, she's got a shelf, she's got a dump truck, and that's it. And then I just move on because I'm not really like looking too heavily at that, if that makes sense. But then the people on the show will point out, oh, I pop my balloon because I like a more natural look. I don't like the whole and then I go, oh, that's a BBL, I hadn't even noticed. And it just makes me think, I wonder how many people I just looked at and just assumed they were born like that naturally, or just built it in the gym, but actually they got a little work done. But now people are assuming anybody who has that body type has gone and got themselves an operation. Like, God forbid, like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would be distraught if someone looked at me and they were like, she went and got a BBL. I mean, I don't think I have the BBL look, just because like how you do notice it's a BBL is if like the hips are hipping and they're not proportionate to like the thighs, if that makes sense. Like, you can always tell if you look at the thighs, wait, your thighs aren't supporting your, I don't know guys, that's not really what I was here to talk about, was it? But that being said, this is my next worry, is the devaluation of those of us who do have this body type naturally, and how people are going to start viewing those of us with this body type. I feel like especially predominantly Black women are going to really suffer with this, because it's a body type that's often associated with Black women having a larger badonkadonk, basically. Not to say that no other race can, and not saying that all Black women look this way. It is just what is predominantly associated with a Black woman historically, going all the way back to like slavery times, right? And it does really hurt to think that like soon, because I think right now we're still in the early stages, but it does feel like it's getting more and more where I am hearing people almost speak down on themselves and being quite self-deprecating towards their bodies because of the fact that they don't fit into the current body trend or beauty standards. Whereas if you'd even like rewinded just 2-3 years ago when I first started speaking about this, they wouldn't have felt that way. But it's just goes to show how much society can have a hold on us. And I will always say this, like, people often say, just don't care what people say, don't care what society is doing, just focus on yourself. And 100% I am with that. But like I mentioned in a previous video, if you're in a hostile environment and you're in an environment that is constantly making you feel a certain way, it takes an immense amount of strength to be able to not let it affect you. It's not even strength, it's just focus, it's awareness, because it's little things just dotted around throughout your day that slowly will just like make you feel like less than, and make you feel the pressure to change yourself and to look a certain way, if that makes sense, and to follow these trends. It's hard just to be like, I'm not involved, because inherently humans want to be part of a community. We want to feel welcomed, we want to feel accepted, and with that comes with the way that we look, basically. Okay, so where do we go from here? Because I really wanted to talk about this, because I think the BBL trend is such a clear example of why we need to be so aware of how we're being manipulated and how body trends come and go, and how it is ridiculous to have body trends in the first place. It is so important to stay aware of any changes you decide to make within yourself and your body specifically. Think about it. Okay, am I doing this from a place of love, or am I doing this from a place of insecurity? Could this insecurity change? How much is society impacting this insecurity I have within myself? Is this something that I could work to accept without feeling like I have to change something about myself? Ask yourself these deep questions as the years go on, because more trends are going to be coming up. Now, I don't know what's going to happen after this sort of like skinny era we're in. I think a lot of people have been saying, you know, actually it's not just being skinny, it's being muscular as well, because if you're muscular, it shows that you actually have time to work on yourself and put into your body. And it's almost like an economic status now, because the average person is probably like working several jobs, they're burnt out and can't keep up with a regular workout routine. And so if you're seen to be somebody with some muscle mass on your body, some tone, that kind of thing, it shows that, oh, that person is of a higher class to me because they got the time to put into their body. So not only is it skinniness, but it is to a new level of like, you know, the Pilates body. Another thing you can do is to hype those up around you and hype people up within your community, make people feel good within their bodies. One thing I always try to do when I'm having conversations, specifically with women, because these conversations tend to come up with women more, is just to encourage them to speak more positively about themselves and accept their bodies, because I often find when speaking about bodies with women, it's usually self-deprecating, it's usually putting themselves down, something they need to change about themselves constantly. And it's very rare that I just hear a woman like celebrating her body, feeling good within it, and just being like, yes, I'm that girl. And so we need to start having more conversations about that, but also be the change you want to see. I find it really difficult because as much as I get on here and I tell everyone to love themselves and to embrace themselves, I have so many insecurities and I can feel really insecure about myself for sure. But I make a real effort not to always project that outwards to everybody and be like, I'm an uggo, I feel really fat, and all these things, because it's just not always helpful to hear those negative statements said. I think the more you hear people speak positively about themselves, it encourages that out of other people. So be the change you want to see. Be the change you want to see. And lastly, if you choose to go through any transformation, like I said, just ask yourself these questions like, am I doing this for me? And really explore your own self-expression. How do you want to express yourself? Because at the end of the day, I feel like that's what, you know, appearance is about. The way that we look, it's a chance to express yourself. Like lately, I don't know why, hang in there with me, I feel like I want to experience what it feels like to have really ripped arms. I've just never really trained my upper body that much as I should compared to my lower body. I sound like such a stereotype, so typical. What can I say? But it wasn't for aesthetic reasons. It was literally just an ego thing. I love knowing that my legs can do so much, but I hate that when I'm doing upper body, I feel so weak. So I just love how strong I feel with lower body. So I feel like I focus more on that because I was like, oh, my upper body's so weak. I don't feel slay. But now I really want to start training my upper body and I want to see what it would look like if it was like super ripped. And I want to see if it's actually possible, because you know how like women would like shy away from training weights, especially upper body, because they're like, my arms will get so bulky. I'm ashamed to say it, but I felt like I fell into that category when I was like much younger, because like anytime I like work my arms, I'd be like, wait, why are my biceps popping like that? And I get a little bit scared, but I want to see how far I can take that. And that's exciting to me because it's a decision or something I'm thinking about that isn't based on current trends or anything like that, but just based on my own curiosity and my own whimsical funness that, ooh, I got given a human body to play with and enjoy for the rest of my life. What am I gonna do with it? Get some ripped arms, might as well. That's a bit of fun. Is it hurting me in any way? No. So that sounds like something fun I can do. But it doesn't mean that I'm any less happy with my arms as they are. I do get my arms out. I do accept and embrace them. Sometimes I feel a bit, ooh, but then I always remind myself that's mostly just insecurities that have been given to me by the beauty standards, because why do so many women hide their arms? It is a phenomenon that we need to look into, because tell me why. Literally everyone feels insecure about their arms. I'm like, what do you want the arms to look like? What is the perfect arm? I don't even know at this point. I don't know. Anyway guys, it was just a quick one to get into the BBL backlash and how I feel about it, how I feel personally victimized and attacked as a big back baddie. It's gonna be hard out here for me. Like already, the low-rise jeans. When low-rise came back in, I knew the backlash had started. Because if you've got a shelf, you know low-rise doesn't always agree with you. It's just not, it's a bit, whoa. Anyway, let me go. Let me officially go. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this and the BBL backlash and everything like that, and how crazy it is that we will risk our lives for body trends. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget what I said. I said you deserve to be happy. Super duper happy, okay? Cool. Okay, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.